The DIRCO statement affirmed South Africa's institutions designed to protect the country's democracy, including Chapter 9 institutions, which it said were constitutionally mandated to protect and advance human rights. DIRCO accused the United States of seeking to produce one-sided fact-free reports without due process or engagement, pointing to the irony of what it called significant and documented concerns about human rights within the United States, including the treatment of refugees and breaches in due process by its own agencies, such as Federal Immigration Enforcement known as ICE. Earlier, the State Department released a host of reports on countries citing human rights concerns or restrictions on freedom of speech in European countries like the United Kingdom, France, and Germany, accusing the government of Brazil of undermining democratic debate and suppressing the speech of supporters of former President Jair Bolsonaro, while saying there were no credible reports of significant human rights abuses in El Salvador, where rights groups have documented widespread violations, or on Israel, where the report says the government took several credible steps to identify officials who committed human rights abuses, but omitted any mentions of the ICC war crimes charges faced by Israeli politicians or the case alleging genocide in Gaza that is currently before the International Court of Justice. The U.S. document on South Africa says there were several reports the government or its agents committed arbitrary or unlawful killings. It highlighted the land expropriation bill as a worrying step towards land expropriation targeting Afrikaners, and of further abuses against racial minorities in the country. It also accused the government of not taking credible steps to investigate, prosecute, and punish officials who committed human rights abuses. News agency Reuters, citing official sources, said the U.S. country report was delayed for months as Trump appointees altered an earlier State Department draft to bring it in line with America First values. In its statement, DIRCO cited the UN Human Rights Office's position that the Land Expropriation Act was a critical step in addressing the country's racially imbalanced land ownership, and pointed to reports by the South African Human Rights Commission and the UN Human Rights Council as a more accurate assessment of conditions in South Africa. DIRCO said it remained open to addressing what it called distortions through diplomatic channels. So what is also true is that this now becomes an additional stress test for an already complicated relationship between Pretoria and Washington, as critical trade negotiations continue, where a 30% tariff is already in place, geopolitical differences that have seen punitive legislation targeting South Africa work its way through the Republican-led House of Representatives, and what this all means for the US as a reliable partner within the G20 framework, where a number of criticized countries are party to that multilateral process. Sherwin Bryce-Pease, SABC News, New York.